well by asking those questions directly to us. And here I thank the Department of Basic Education for being willing, prepared, and have a duty to lead the charge in this regard. And in thanking all of you for participating, I think it is a huge step that you have already taken. But I want to highlight just 10 issues. 10 issues about the role or behavior of young boys towards women and how we can begin to bring about influence, positive influence, so that all of us as men and as young boys realize how we can change our own behavior and how we can discard what we were taught at the home, what we were taught where we grew up, and also what we were taught through our cultural norms in terms of being better young men and better citizens. The first one in my book is that there must be respect and equality. Young boys should be taught and should know that they need to respect women as equals and recognize their rights, their feelings, and their perspectives. And I bring once again the imagery of your mother, because if we bring the imagery of your mother, female, woman in your life, and you then transpose that to your relationships with other women that you come across, your relationship with your mother is based on total respect. It is based on recognizing that, yes, she is your mother, you respect her feelings, you respect her perspectives. I have now taken to watching this soapy, Shaka Ilembe, and I am just in awe of how Ushaka Ilembe respected his mother and how he treated his mother and how he wanted to protect his mother at all times, and how even as his mother was being demeaned and degraded, he took it upon himself that I am going to wipe out the suffering and the travails that you are going through. And what it taught me is that if men can treat the women in their lives with respect, with recognition of equality, we will then go a long way. When you look at a woman, you should say, there's no difference between me and her. We are equal. We're equal citizens, and I must treat her with respect, just as I respect everyone else. And the second point for me is empathy. Understanding and empathizing with the experiences of women will help us as men and as boys become compassionate and supportive individuals. Being able to empathize, to have full understanding of the condition that women have, to understand that even things like once a month, a woman has to go through a period that is difficult and challenging for her, and empathize and understand and say, yes, I understand. These were things that were never talked about in the past. They were never talked about, and we need as men to empathize and to understand. It is when we understand, when you understand the other person's viewpoint, when you understand the other person's condition, that your respect and your recognition of them then grows. The third one is to have boundaries. As men, we must know that we have boundaries. It's essential for young boys to understand and respect personal boundaries. Recognizing that consent, even as a woman says, head, hey, is it that you cannot make bam, and some of it doing all those things. When you look at a woman and say, wow, hey, your breasts are like this and your eye limits, because, and we must also challenge rather, stereotypes. Boys should be and bias traditional gender roles. Whereas some of you were saying, yes, the normal trend and the cultural tradition is that the woman must be the one who tends for the men all the time. That is a cultural and traditional stereotype that we must challenge. And I'm glad that you, young men who are here, young boys, you are beginning to do that. The education that is being culcated to you or being offered to you at your schools is such that you will have the strength, the intellectual rigor to be able to challenge those. And you have to make a stand against the fifth one, against misogyny. Boys must be educated about the negative impacts of misogyny and attitudes, and we must encourage you to stand up against them, to look at women as objects that men should use, to look at women as objects of sex, to look at women as people that you can oppress, undermine, and demean. It cannot be. We are all equal citizens, and our Constitution dictates that we should have that approach. And the sixth one for me is open communication. Boys must be encouraged to communicate openly about your feelings. You must be able to say, I feel depressed for this and that reason. And we need to get into that mode